What's up, everyone? Welcome to inplayLIVE podcast, episode number 16. My name is Andrew Pace, founder and CEO of inplayLIVE, the home for live sports investing. I got a guest co-host here today. Usually we got my main man, Thomas Ritzker, kicking it with us, but we have the co-founder and CTO of inplayLIVE here, Mark Rodgman. We're coming at you with a super exciting episode today, live on location in Osoyoos, BC, Canada, Canada's only hot desert. But before we dive into today, I want to touch on a couple of very important things. Number one, click the bell to subscribe to our videos. We've launched a whole series of how to sports bet, sports betting strategy, how to bet the money line, how to bet the spread. Very awesome videos that we think everyone should be checking out. So click the bell to subscribe for this, future podcasts, etc. And secondly, the NBA playoffs are upon us. One of the coolest things that the two of us got to do since starting inplayLIVE was we got to get the big check like they have in Happy Gilmore that he requests to be paid in, and we got to drop a donation to the Vancouver Canucks for Kids Canucks Hospice. And the reason we were able to do that was because we launched a pool for the March Madness bracket. Now that we have the NHL playoffs on us and the NBA playoffs on us, we're doing an NBA playoff pool bracket. So if you're watching this before Saturday, May 22nd, you have the chance to come in to our NBA playoff pool bracket. The link below has all the details so that you can join up and participate in that bracket. It's $25 Canadian to enter, and $5 from every single entry goes to the MLSE, which is a great foundation that we're supporting at inplayLIVE. The other $20 goes towards the NBA playoff bracket pool, with the winner taking all, and every single entry gets you one raffle ticket for a signed Kyle Lowry jersey. So if you want to be part of our bracket, click the link below. You'll get all the details there. And you'll also be automatically a part of our future pools and get notifications of that. You do not need to be a member. It's open to the public. Just wanted to start with that, and let's dive into today's topic. What are we talking about?
We're talking about value wagering on vacation. We're here in beautiful Okanagan, British Columbia. So we've taken some time away. Well, not really away. We're still going hard at all the sports, but basically just wanted to probe Andrew and pick his brain about vacationing in general when you are a sports value analyst, and really just kind of dive in there and look at when to do it, what certain details about it, how you actually manage it schedule-wise. So
yeah,
really the first question I wanted to ask you was, when do you go on vacation as a sports value analyst? Timing-wise?
Yeah, that's a really good question, and I think a key time people like to go on vacation is the transition from fall to winter. People love like all-inclusives in December. People love, heading out to Mexico or Hawaii in November. I haven't done that for years, right? Just with football specifically, I like to go away for like at least a week. If I'm not in my peak environment during NFL and NCAA football season. Could I succeed? Yes. Would I? Probably not to the degree I am now. So I don't vacation during the fall and the winter at all. And then once NFL season ends, I kind of turn the Jets on.
Yeah. Well, especially with football, because, it goes from, isn't it like first week of September, basically into January. NCAA is going through to the first week of January. So, you need to be on Saturdays. You need to be fully tuned in.
Yeah.
So, sometimes we'll take little getaways midweek or something up to the mountain, and that's super manageable. But you're talking like, obviously, like if you're going to plan like a big, like, a 2-weeker.
Yeah. For
you specifically, it doesn't work.
Yeah, so balance is super key, and I think you touched on it. We go away all the time for little trips, where if we just need to watch one game, like Thursday night football in the NFL.
That's right.
Monday night football, that's no problem. I can watch that game. It's prime time anywhere in the world, pretty much.
And those are fun nights, because it's like the whole night revolves around the one game.
Yeah, right? And the other side of that, too, is you could travel to Atlantic City, you could travel to Colorado, you could travel to Vegas. and you've got all the games on there. As long as you have access to your books and your devices, you're still okay. But for the most part, I would say, I'm not going away in the winter or the fall too much. But then,
it's a unique year too, because the NHL and the NBA both started. Well, they both started right around kind of the holiday season, right? So they're starting later this year, and now they're going further in through.
They did have shortened seasons.
Right. Okay.
We had shortened seasons due to COVID, but also at the same time, we're kind of caught up now. The NHL and NBA playoffs are going to go a little bit longer than what they usually would, but at the end of the day, next season we're going to be caught up. So if you're watching this and, it's the start of the season for 2021 and we're heading into 2022 and so on and so forth, we're probably back to normal, knock on wood, right? So I think more than anything, balance is key. And that doesn't just mean going on trips, right? That extends to your family, that extends to your friends, taking a night off, whatever the case needs to happen for you to have balance when it comes to sports betting. And I think that I'm super fortunate when it comes to balance, because sports betting gives me the ability to have balance like I never had before, right? Like if you're dealing with a 9-to-5 job, you're booking time off. You got to submit time off.
Sometimes a long time.
And your manager's like, sorry, no.
Yeah.
Like that life we left behind. You and I left behind a long time ago, right? So the flip side to this is that as long as you have your cell phone or your computer, you can wager on sports from anywhere in the world. So, you're being given the keys to your freedom when you do hit the level that you're providing enough income to leave your job. And I'm not taking a shot at anyone here, but the thought of booking time off that's torture. Right? Like, so
in terms of, in general, just by being a sports value analyst, in terms of the larger question of vacation, I mean, it's more really about like the freedom conversation, right? The freedom, the balance, and being able to do little getaways, fun trips, and then also planning for, of course, bigger ones, which, when the summer rolls around and that kind of thing.
Yeah, and the flip side to that is, okay, here we are, right? We're in a Soyuz right now. This isn't what I would consider like a quote-unquote vacation because it's drivable. But, we're away from my peak environment, away from my screens, and I think the flip side to it is...
you didn't bring your 8 TVs up here?
The flip side, right? The flip side to this is, we're out golfing the other night. I have to take some time in the middle of our round to lock our wagers in. So you have to make a decision. Am I taking the night off where I just put it all aside and foregoing the opportunity to make money? There's a huge opportunity cost associated with that. Or am I dealing with, the social environment that I'm in and continuing to proceed with my wagers? In my case, obviously being, the person that I am, I'm instructing hundreds of people on taking wagers. So you were there with me. If you guys have checked out our Instagram, there's some clips of it, but we live streamed from the golf course the other night.
Well, that leads into a later question, but just to wrap up the first one, so it sounds like if you were going to plan, say, like a 2-3 week vacation where you're actually taking a step back, you're not just doing like a 2-nighter. Like for you personally, would it come more around the summer? Is there like a break between sports for you that aren't, kind of your main priorities?
Right. So,
or it might vary between sports value analysts.
I would say not for me. Right, everyone's different. For me, it's not going to happen during football season. During football season, when COVID hasn't been on, I've gone to Monday night and Thursday night football games.
I can't even pry this guy away from for like a weekend during football season.
No chance.
He's lights out.
People are like, "Oh, I'm going to the Seahawks game today." I'm like, "Are you crazy? You're going to watch one game when there's 16 on?"
Yeah.
Not my cup of tea. So, I'll go to a Monday night football game and a Thursday night football game and take the Monday to Friday away from my peak environment because I know I'm either at those games or I can watch them very easily. But yeah. So as far as the best time to go away goes, I would say whenever your peak sport has downtime. And I think for us, we were very, very good at taking a step back come summertime because we used to refer to baseball as losing season, right? So we're still wagering, poolside, whatever,
recreational stuff,
grabbing a
fun
couple parlays on some MLB action, which is just fun, right? There's nothing. I never try to ever tell people that
get a run around in the pool.
Yeah, the recreational side of sports betting is always going to be fun, right? That's never going away. I just think it's a better time. With that said, with inplayLIVE and everything that we got going on now, the MLB is just getting ramped up, right? So it's prime time for MLB coming up as the NHL and NBA playoffs sort of come down. So that from that standpoint, it means there's always something on. There's always something you got to be committed to, and that's where the word balance comes in. Yeah. You have to carve out time to enjoy the fruits of your labor, as with any profession, because otherwise, why are you even doing it?
Well, totally.
Right?
But you were also very strategic. I mean, even the time we're away now, there was a little bit of a downtime before the playoffs started, right? Yeah. So you identified that. You saw it on the calendar, and you're like, you know what? We're going to go. We can go. It's a better time to go during this time. Doesn't mean I'm off totally, but I'm going to have a bigger chunk of time in a row where I can really just, ease off the gas a bit.
Yeah, totally.
Okay, so that leads me to the next question, and we kind of touched on it a bit. How do you prepare your environment / equipment on vacation?
Yeah,
I'm sure a lot of people are dying to know how the heck do you even sort that out? You don't have 8 TVs in your hotel room.
Well, I think one of the cool things about the world that we live in right now is that you can have a folder on your phone that says sports betting apps, and there's 8 apps. You log into all 8 of them, and you can just swipe up and swipe over and see the lines for all 8 on that one device alone, right? I'm a little bit more sort of, I would just say, comfortable having laptops. So for me, I've got a couple computers. I have the ability to access my my home system of games from anywhere remotely through my computer. So at any given time, I can watch any game in the world pretty much through my computer, where it's not like a minute delayed or whatever because I'm connecting to my TVs.
What is the on it's
the latency is like 10 seconds.
It's reasonable.
That is reasonable.
Yeah.
That means that during the NFL season that might not be reasonable.
No,
it might not be. But I don't.
But you wouldn't go away anyway.
Yeah, I wouldn't go away anyway. So, that's kind of how I deal with limiting. I would say limiting latency. But yeah,
so how many laptops do you have out? How many iPads?
I got 3 laptops. I got my iPad. I got my phone, all going at one time. And there's some times where that reverses, where I have 3 or 4 tablets and 1 laptop. Whatever it is. But at the same time, I kind of wouldn't want that to intimidate someone, because when it comes to doing this, and it's your,
it's all relative.
You're creating all your first accounts, and you've got your iPad or your phone or your computer. You can have all the tabs open right there. It just depends on what you're comfortable with. We have guys at inplayLIVE. I don't even know if you know this, but they have extensions, just, and everyone's different.
Yeah.
What provides them comfort is different. And this goes for way beyond just betting on sports. This goes for stock trading and playing poker online, multi-table betting, right? They've got extensions so that their screen is split 6 or 8 ways. And then they broadcast their split screen on, a 60-inch TV so that they can see it with more clarity. And that's how they're turning one device into a better viewing experience.
One monitor is
for
chopped
them.
6 ways. They can see different things like that.
Right, and I think one of the things too is living in the city. If you have a house with an office, you can get whatever processors you want and get it all set up how you want and things like that. But space saving is very important. I don't have an office at home, so I just pull out my laptops, and that's when it comes to that. It doesn't even speak to vacation. That's everyone's sort of own setup and equipment that they have for what works in their individual spaces.
Well, what about books? When you're away, do you just focus on a couple, based on where you are? Look, I'm on vacation. I'm gonna be. These are the main sports. I'm just gonna be focusing on these 2, or does location not really matter too much for focusing on books and things like that?
You know what? I think it does matter, but it depends. So if you're in the United States right now and you're learning, how to sports bet, and you're doing sports betting strategies of whatever kind, I think your location matters so much more. Because as soon as you cross over to sports betting in New Jersey to sports betting in Pennsylvania, they know where you are. And all of a sudden, Bet365 doesn't work when you go from New Jersey to Pennsylvania. Whereas in our case, being from Canada, it works across the whole country, right? If we travel to the United States, as long as we're using our cell data, they still work, right? So I think where you are is a huge factor. Kenny, one of the pros at inplayLIVE, he's big on this stuff, right? So he's traveling all the time, and you talk about setting up your peak environment. He'll land in a plane to where he's going, and he goes and buys a couple TVs from Best Buy to add screens to his hotel room in Colorado, right? So he's got all these extra screens that he's just bought in Colorado, right? Which now all of a sudden, he either, I don't know if he gives the TV to the cleaning lady or what he does, but he's buying cheap TVs. When he goes from Pennsylvania or New Jersey to Colorado, he is now subject to the books in Colorado. On the flip side of that, he goes to Nevada, and sports betting in Nevada is a disaster now if you live in the United States, which used to be the cream of the crop, right? So you go to Nevada, and now you lose access to all your books that you previously had. So location matters depending on where you're from.
Yeah.
Right?
No, it makes sense. So, I mean, in terms of where we are, one of the things that we like to do the most is go golfing and fun activities, go in the water. Is there, like, from an environment standpoint, is there any tips on how someone can still, be able to get important, even if it's just a few minutes, important work done if they're out with their, out doing a fun activity or something like that? I mean, we were just golfing the other day, and you were ready to go.
You always, some people are on their cell phone in the middle of a boat and they're updating their Instagram story. You might just be taking a wager. You might
Very
just
true,
be taking
very
a
true.
wager instead, right? So I think it just comes back to balance. Do you want to be the degenerate like me who's pulling their laptops out on the golf course, or do you want to be the guy that, is able to take a step back and step away from it?
Rock you like a hurricane. That's...
Yeah, we've had an amazing start to the NHL playoffs. It's a lot of fun. And that's what this is all about, right? Like, obviously we take it seriously. We put these videos out, and it sounds like, we know what we're doing, and obviously we do. But, like, at the end of the day, this is about having fun, and you should do it because you love it, right?
100%.
Right? Like, the money I've made from it is awesome, but at the end of the day, it's super fun doing this.
Absolutely.
It's fun.
Well, and it just shows that you're responsible for obviously educating and providing value for hundreds of our members. And we were out golfing the other day, and you're able to take a few minutes out of your round and bust out the laptops in the golf cart and deliver the, you know what I mean? So but that's not just about your responsibility. You fundamentally love it. It is like in your blood, and that is like, it's like a dream, right? So quick question for you is, and this kind of goes into the third question, how do you manage your schedule when you're on vacation? So you're on vacation, you're with your significant other, you're with family, you're with friends, and everyone wants to do all this stuff. How do you plan out the day and your schedule on vacation?
Yeah, I think that's important. So my first piece of advice would be just...
Because I'm sick of these nights where you
I think first and foremost is plan your vacation. Plan it. I'm not saying go away. I'm saying plan the damn thing, right? At this time, from this time on this day, I'm doing this and this, and that might be going on a catamaran in Hawaii, and that might be posting up after being on the catamaran at a beautiful sports bar overlooking the Pacific, the bluest, most beautiful water in the world, where you got your laptop bag and you pull out your devices so that you can settle in, have a cocktail, have a meal, but let communicate, for the love of God.
Well, it's just the transparency. It builds on. You've said this so many times.
Yeah.
It's in all the videos. It's in the course where it's about letting people know, and just communication, transparency. So it sounds like that's just it just builds off that.
It's all about communication and transparency. If you're the loser in the corner, hiding and pretending that you're doing something that you shouldn't be doing, or if you're the guy that says, "Hey, I'm actually on this vacation because of what this that I'm doing," right? Now I need to take an hour tonight or 2 hours tonight, so that I can enjoy the catamaran tomorrow, so that I can take you guys out for dinner tomorrow, so that I can do this or that. But in order to do that, I need this time. You guys come to the bar with me. We'll have a lot of fun.
Yeah.
I can show you what I'm doing.
Yeah,
I'll
of
pick up
course.
the tab, whatever it needs to be. But tell them, communicate, be transparent. Don't be the loser in the side of the room
sure.
with the gambling problem that, people don't know what it is that you're doing or trying to accomplish.
For sure. I mean, and even this is an example. I mean, a lot of the right now in terms of NHL playoffs, NBA, a lot of the action it's on in our time zone. It's on in the evenings, right? So we're planning stuff. If there's a fun activity, or even if we go golfing, we're maybe go do that a little bit earlier. Or you go plan a fun, like this weekend, we're gonna go do some wine tastings.
Yeah.
And we're doing that in the middle of the day so that we can plan around.
Yeah, so I think one of the things about that, and I try not to plug inplayLIVE too much on these podcasts. I actually want people to just enjoy it that aren't necessarily members.
Mm-hmm.
But one of the things that's cool about inplayLIVE, and I think our members could vouch for this, is it's fun. So, we're talking about all this stuff as if, you're on vacation and you shouldn't do it or you have to plan around it and all
it's
this
like
stuff.
it's work.
I look
right?
forward to going live at home. I look forward to going live while I'm on vacation because, we're coming together as a community with a common goal to, destroy the sports books. And we've done exactly that on this trip so far. We've been here for over a week now, right? We've been here for over a week. We've live streamed 3 times. Every single one of them have been extremely profitable.
They can only be from the golf course now, apparently, from some of popular demand.
Yeah, but it's fun, right? Yeah. So that's the other side of it. There's being transparent, there's communicating, and then, there's the reality of it. Like, hey, we're here to have fun. We're here to be a community of people that looks forward to watching the games together
100%
at night for most people in your time zone, right?
Absolutely, especially during these times. I mean, the bonds, I mean, it's watching it and doing this with other people that are like-minded. I mean,
yeah,
probably a little bit more fun than doing it alone, right?
Yeah, and you know what? I think one of the things that's really appealing about teachers or principals or anyone that works in the school system is you have summers off, and that's the way I have looked at inplayLIVE long before inplayLIVE was launched. That's the way I've looked at being a professional sports bettor or a sports value analyst is I get summers off because I've earned it, right?
Definitely.
And there's nothing wrong with that. Do I still wager in the summer? Of course, but it's because I love it and I want to. It's just that it's not an all-consuming thing that's required that I'm home like I view NCAA Saturday or an NFL Sunday.
Yeah, it makes sense. No, it makes a lot of sense. I mean, at least for me, those are the big questions. I think for most people, like, if you're into this, how do I manage things? How do I go away? What do I bring with me? How do I make it all work? And then at the same time, how do I actually, when I'm on vacation, how do I schedule so that everyone's happy?
Yeah, and I think again, communication and planning, right? Planning is key. How am I going to do this, right? How am I going to watch the games if I need to? Do I need to watch the games?
Definitely.
Do I have access to my sports books? All that kind of stuff. What's the cell phone service like? Like, some people like to go camping.
Absolutely.
Camping can oftentimes be something where
Off
you have
the grid,
very poor cell phone service, right, or reception. I know we've been camping a few times where we've been betting and we've gone out. We've gone out in a canoe. We've gone out in a canoe.
Yeah.
So this is very recreational, but we've paddled out on a lake where we have no reception, out on a canoe to where we could get reception.
Got to run around.
So to get a wager in, right? So I think we took like the Seattle Mariners money line or something like that, middle of the summer.
It was as recreational as it gets.
Gets, right? And then we don't know if we've won or not. So we have to canoe out to this spot to then see if we've won the next day. And it's literally, the game has been over for like 12 hours.
Yeah.
And we're canoeing out on the lake.
The unknown.
To see if we've won. It's a big moment. And we've definitely had canoe celebrations. We've had canoe losses as well. But yeah, it's a lot of fun. That's what it's really all about. And yeah, planning and communication, that's the big stuff. So I'll ask you a question. You are the CTO of inplayLIVE, co-founder. You're not a huge sports bettor, but you do bet on sports. Just so everyone knows, Mark Rajman, we call him Raj, he is beyond integral. The business would not exist without him. So we were in Whistler when we came up with the idea to... We were on vacation when we came up with the idea to...
One of those 2-night vacations.
To start inplayLIVE. And, he's been the guy that's really put the business together. So huge thank you and cheers for that. But I would just ask, what has kind of been your favorite part or experience of not about inplayLIVE specifically, maybe it is, but about launching the business, where we are today, kind of a year later from when we were filming our masterclass.
Absolutely. I mean, I think the biggest part for me is helping with you and of course Ian, who's our other co-founder, putting the business together, like the product together. And then I think the easiest answer is seeing all the insane success stories.
Yeah.
You know, when you spend all this time, blood, sweat, and tears putting something like this together,
it could fail.
Well, you just don't know what's going to happen. You know,
Yeah.
like this whole business started initially as educational videos.
Yeah.
And then that quickly blended into live streams and value wager picks and all these other things where we didn't know where the direction was going to go. So I think seeing the testimonials now and all the reviews of how this has been completely life-changing for people, seeing testimonials where a guy, one of our top members, Chase, buys a house with his
Profits.
Success from inplayLIVE, that's where like it really hits you. Holy cow, this is
it's a lot more than a price of a subscription.
Yeah. So I don't know, for me personally, it's seeing that. I mean, obviously for you that must be incredibly what's the word, humbling and just rewarding is what I'm trying to say. Seeing all that. So I think for me, I honestly get a lot of just excitement and passion behind the scenes and putting it all together, and it's a lot of fun. Wouldn't change it for the world.
Awesome. All right, thanks so much for everyone for tuning in. Episode 16 has been a blast. I want to remind all of you right now to click the bell to subscribe. Check us out on Facebook, Instagram, of course YouTube, and Twitter. And for grinding out this episode today, we have a promotion running right now on our quarterly subscription. The monthly price for inplayLIVE is $149, but because you watched the podcast today, we're giving you our quarterly subscription, which is 3 months, for only $199. That works out to $66 per month, which is over 40% off that $149. Click the checkout page below. You can also click our free training below, but if you want to get that that over 40% off discount, enter the promo code Ritzker Podcast, and that's going to get you that discount. And until next time, cheers.
All the best.